Hello everyone, and welcome to the Annie Lizz Podcast. I'm your host, Annie Elizabeth, and welcome to another episode where Annie talks. So today marks episode number 9 of the Annie Lizz Podcast, which is super exciting, number 1, but also it is the last episode of 2024. I know people always say oh, it feels like 2023 was just yesterday, and even I say it. However, it is so true. Literally, I look back on all of things that have happened, and it truly does not feel like it was a year ago. It truly does not feel like all these things have happened this year, or it literally feels like everything happened yesterday. And so that is such a crazy thing to look back on. But thank God for breath in our lungs, and thank God that we're going to be entering into this new year. So today I'm going to be talking about something that I want you to carry with you in 2025. I want you to carry this into the new year. And so open your heart, tell God, I'm going to receive something, and just let God speak to you. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you may have gone through a lot of things in 2024. You may have gone through a lot of things. You may have gone through the hardest thing that you've ever gone through. You may have faced a lot of challenges. You may have faced a lot of battles. You may have the situations that may have come, circumstances that you could not control. And it's safe to say, you may have gone through a lot, right? However, keep what is of the past in the past. Why do you feel the need to carry that into the new year? Why do you feel the need to keep carrying that baggage that is just holding you down? That extra weight that is on your shoulders. There's no need to bring this into the new year. There's no need to bring this into 2025. There's no need. So for you to be oh, yes, I've gone through so many things in 2024. I've gone through so many, I've faced the hardest challenges I've ever faced. You need to leave that in the past. You need to leave that where it's meant to be. I'm not telling you to deny that has ever happened. I'm not telling you to deny what you have gone through. I'm not telling you to say, oh, I've never gone through this, or I didn't go through hard things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to deny what has happened, but rather I'm telling you to just decide to move forward, to decide to leave that in 2024 and decide to keep on moving forward with your life. Because what is that going to bring you if you just focus on the things that have happened in 2024 and bring it with you into 2025? What does that bring you? Because here's the thing. You can't choose to change anything. You can't go back in time. You can't change what has happened. You can't control the circumstances. You can't control the situations that have come and the things that you have faced. So why even choose to dwell on it when you can't change a thing about it? Why choose to keep your head wrapped around those things that have happened when you can't do anything to erase it? You can't do anything to change the circumstance. It already happened. You can't do a thing about it. So just move on. Just move on with your life. And I know it sounds so straightforward, but that's the truth. You just have to move on. Because if no one else told you this, then I will. You just have to move on with your life. You have to keep on moving forward. Yes, you went through things, but people go through things. And so you think you're the only exception? You think you're the only person that has gone through something? No, you're not. So yes, things have happened to you in 2024. Yes, things and situations have come. But you're not going to wrap your head around it and stay stuck on that, but rather going to choose to keep going on the path that God has set before you. So instead of dwelling on those things that have happened, I need you to dwell on this mentality, which I'm going to share with you today. John 16:33 says, "These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trials and tribulations, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world." So what you have to realize is that the Bible literally says that you're going to go through trials and tribulations. Literally challenges are going to come. Battles are going to come. Situations are going to arise. But what people tend to do is that they always say, oh, on this earth, you're going to go through trials and tribulations, but, you're going to go through difficulty. You're going to go through that hard season where things are just going to be bad and the devil's going to be attacking. Did you not read the next part? I'm not saying that you're never gonna face challenges. I'm not saying that there's not gonna be giants in the land. That's not what I'm saying, because I would be a liar if I told you that. Because the Bible clearly states otherwise. The Bible literally says that trials and tribulations will come. That verse doesn't say, oh, maybe you'll go through trials and tribulations. If you're lucky, you won't. No, it says you will go through trials and tribulations. But what does the next part say? What does the next part say that everyone somehow just forgets about and doesn't read and tell people about? But be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. Who has overcome the world? Jesus Christ. Listen, Jesus Christ did not just come to die for a little symbol, just to tell people, oh, I died on a cross. He did not just die to have those cross necklaces. He didn't die for no reason or for a cute little meaning. He died so you can literally have victory. He literally died for you so you can live victoriously. So you can live the victorious life that, yes, you're in this evil world, but although you're in this evil world, you can have victory over every single circumstance, over every situation that may come against you. Jesus literally took the keys of hell, death, and the grave. Realize that. Realize what he did. We ultimately have the authority now over our circumstance because of him. Because what the devil thought was his greatest victory, oh, I'm killing Jesus Christ, I'm killing the Son of God, I'm killing the supposed savior of this universe and all creation, was actually his greatest loss. When he thought he was winning, he actually had his greatest loss in all of history. Because he didn't realize that Jesus literally came to die for us so we can be saved and so we can have victory, so we can have authority. The Bible literally says that if the devil knew that Jesus Christ was going to die to save us, he would have never even have crucified him. He would have never crucified Jesus Christ if he knew what he was doing. If he knew his plan. It's so crazy to me how many people actually believe the lie that as a Christian, life is hard. That as a Christian, we always have to struggle and things are going to come against us, but that's okay because we just got to wait till heaven and one day things will be all right. That is not what the Bible teaches. It doesn't teach that, yes, you're going to go through these things, but one day in heaven, you're going to be all right. One day in heaven, you're going to finally be free from struggle. One day in heaven, you're going to finally be free from adversity. One day in heaven, you're going to finally be free from the battles. But no, it literally says, yes, you will have trials and tribulations, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. So you have to realize something, that if Jesus Christ died so you can have victory, then that means that victory is your birthright. Victory belongs to you as a believer. As a son or daughter of Christ, victory belongs to you. But you have to access that victory. You can't say, oh, we're going to go through these hard things and we're always going to fail and expect to receive victory when your words contradict what the Bible is literally telling you can have. You can't expect to have victory over your circumstance when you're always in this defeated attitude, like you've been defeated and you can never win. You can never have victory if your feelings and what you are saying contradicts what the Bible says. Because your flesh wants to give up. Your flesh does not want to keep on going. Your flesh tells you, hey, just give up. You're defeated. There's no point. You've lost this battle. You've lost this challenge. Just give up. But your flesh should not have rule over you, but rather you should have rule over your flesh. And so you don't go by your flesh. You don't go by how you feel. You don't go by how you see things and how you think they're going, but rather you go by faith. By faith, the elders obtained a good report. That's what it literally says in Hebrews 11. Because by faith, they did not see with their natural eyes and accept that, but rather they saw with their natural eyes and said, you know what? Yes, this is happening, but we're not going to accept it because by faith, we have the victory already. By faith. And realize that I've preached that before where I've literally talked about faith. Where faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. Yes, it may look like giants are around you. Yes, it may look like you are grasshoppers in the land. Yes, it may look like you are never going to win this. But you don't go by your eyesight. You don't go by sight. You don't go by your feelings. You don't go by what people are telling you or what people are saying that's going to happen, but rather you go by faith in God. That's how Joshua and Caleb went into the land of Canaan. They went into the land of Canaan because they believed that they can overcome the land even though there were giants there. While everyone else was saying, oh, we're grasshoppers compared to these giants, they were saying, no, let us come now and overtake the land that God has promised us. So there's a difference between you as a believer and other people. Other people will see a challenge and be like, oh, I've lost. But you as a believer should not be like that. You as a believer should rather say, you know what? Yes, there's this challenge, but I'm not going to mistake a challenge for a defeat. My pastor says it like this: it is normal in life to be challenged, but never mistaken a challenge for a defeat. It is normal that things are going to come. It is normal that there's going to be giants in the land. It is normal that the problems are going to rise. It is normal to be challenged. However, just because there is a challenge does not mean you are defeated, does not mean that you have lost. And what people don't realize is that whenever something comes and whenever something shows up out of nowhere, they think that they have lost and they give up on God and they question God and they say, God, why is this happening? God, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I give up. And they don't realize that they can have the victory over their situation. Look at the examples that we literally have in the Bible of people being challenged. Esther her people were about to be killed. An entire generation of people, an entire race of people were about to be killed because of this guy who hated them. But what did Esther do? She literally stood up and defended her people. She did what was right. And what happened in the end? She saved her people because she became queen, because she didn't have the nerve to stay still and just give up, but rather she was bold enough to say that I'm not going to just let this be. I'm going to fast and I'm going to become queen and I'm going to save my people. Look at Moses. He was challenged. Look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Look at Daniel. Look at literally so many examples that we have. So what I'm telling you is that maybe things will come in 2025 that you cannot control. Maybe situations will arise. Maybe things will come that you do not necessarily have control over. But just because they arise, just because things come, does not mean that you have lost. Does not mean that you should just give up and quit. Does not mean that you should just say, God, I tap out. But rather, you should stand up and fight for what is right. Rather, you should stand up and fight the good fight of faith. Because without faith, you cannot please God. Without faith, you cannot win your circumstance. Without faith, you cannot win that battle that you are facing. I heard this preached about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Dr. James Morocco said, one of the tools that the devil uses is intimidation. Like, he will literally try to intimidate you so you can just give up and quit. He will literally try to intimidate you so you can just leave God and just say, you know what? I'm not doing this. But you have to not be intimidated by the devil. Realize what the devil is trying to do. He sees so much potential in you that he has no choice but to challenge you. So take that as a good sign that you are being challenged. Take that as a good sign that the devil is coming against you with these things. Don't let yourself be intimidated. Don't let yourself be afraid of the devil and the things that have come. Because that's the key to losing. That is the key to defeat. By being intimidated and giving up. And what's crazy is that one day you'll realize how pathetic the devil truly is. Like, the Bible literally says that one day we will look at him and we will say, this is the guy, this is the man who literally misled so many people. This is the man who deceived the nations. This is the man, this person, this lowlife, this guy. So realize, like, you're going to say that one day and stand in awe because of how pathetic he truly is. So why not go through that mentality, live with that mentality every single day and be like, this is the guy who is trying to challenge me. This is the guy. Like, he's so pathetic and he's trying to challenge me. Live with that mentality. Because when you live with that victor's mentality, that mentality where I have the victory over every situation, that everything literally changes and you no longer live the same and you no longer look at things the same. You no longer look at a situation and say, how am I going to get through this? How this is so hard. I should just give up. You no longer look at things like that, but rather you say, like, this is easy. I don't feel threatened. I don't feel intimidated because I know my victory in Jesus Christ. Like, even look at the story of where the disciples and Jesus were on a boat. And there was this like big storm, the waves were clashing and everything. And Jesus was literally sleeping. Like throughout the storm, he was literally sleeping. Like he wasn't disturbed, he wasn't scared, he wasn't like freaking out what was gonna happen. Oh, the boat is gonna sink, we're all gonna die, blah 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 blah. Like he wasn't worried. Like throughout the storm, he had peace, and he was sleeping soundly. So just as Jesus was sleeping soundly on the boat during this storm, that's how you should be. You should have peace, and you should know that you have victory throughout the storm that you may be in right now. It's as simple as that. And Jesus literally got up and he was like, why are you guys freaking out? And he rebuked the storm and he went back to sleep. Or even look at the example of Daniel in the lion's den. Like they literally threw Daniel in the lion's den with lions who could literally eat this man alive in a matter of seconds. And what did he do? He was sleeping. He was sleeping just like Jesus. He was literally sleeping. And the lions didn't harm him. The lions didn't eat him. Because why? He had God and he had faith in God. He knew that God was going to save him. That God was going to keep him safe. And that God was going to cause no harm to come against him. So he slept. And then what happened? He went out of the lion's den and he was fine. So while other people are scared and other people are afraid, you have to be the person who is sleeping soundly. This is the definition of victory throughout the storm. Victory throughout the storm means remaining steadfast in faith, peace, and hope despite challenges, trials, or suffering, knowing that the outcome is secured through Christ. It is not just about surviving the storm, but thriving spiritually, emotionally, and mentally because of trust in God's sovereignty and promises. I'm going to be reading through a couple of verses. And the first one is 1 John chapter 5, verse 4. For every child of God defeats this evil world, and we achieve this victory through our faith. And who can win this battle against the world? Only those who believe that Jesus is a Son of God. Romans 8:37. No, despite all these things, overwhelming victory is ours through Christ who loved us. Isaiah 41:10. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. Psalms 34:19. The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to the rescue each time. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 4. For the Lord your God is going with you. He will fight for you against your enemies, and he will give you the victory. 1 Corinthians 15:57. But thank God, he gives us victory over sin and death through our Lord Jesus Christ. Joshua 1:9. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Psalms 118:6. For the Lord is with me, so I will have no fear. What can mere people do to me? If the Bible is literally telling you, like, hey, you have the victory, then why are you questioning? Why are you questioning it? So carry this with you every single day, not just into the new year, but every single day of your life. The victor's mentality that I'm not going to be intimidated, I'm not going to be afraid, I'm not going to get fearful, but rather I'm going to overcome this triumphantly because I have my victory in Jesus Christ and in him alone. Because while others are freaking out and while others are struggling and just trying to survive the storm, you can sleep soundly on the boat and tell the waters to be still. So anyways, guys, that was episode number 9 of the Annie Lizz Podcast. I cannot wait for the new year, and I cannot wait to record episode number 10, which is a big deal for me. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. But anyways, I cannot wait to see what God does in your life, and I cannot wait to see what he does with this podcast. I truly do believe that God is going to do some great and big things in this coming year. But yeah, we're only a couple of days away from the new year, and that is so exciting. So make sure to give everything to God, leave what it needs to be in the past, and take this mentality with you into 2025. The victor's mentality. But until next week, that is all I've got. Make sure to check out my website though at annylizz.com for more information about all things ministry and my podcast. And thank you so much for tuning in because it was truly God ordained. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Have the most amazing day. Be blessed and be joyful. Bye guys. Annie signing off.